Yeah, we're really disappointed with the manner in which we've given ourselves a huge mountain to climb. But I think it sounds an odd thing to say, but I think apart from the two chances, we restricted a team that is very creative and very good in front of goal. That needs very little space to really open you up to very little. And that's why the manner in which we concede those goals is so frustrating, because I think we got ourselves into a position and we set up in such a way that those are the types of goals that we certainly shouldn't have conceded. And I think we showed some naivety, particularly on the second goal, to open up at a point at which we really didn't need to. I think had we got in at half time in relatively good shape at 1 down, having had a number of really good chances ourselves, then the second half becomes easier. But I think if you take the game as a whole, the performance was largely very good. We've gone toe to toe and some with for sure one of the top three, top two sides across the two divisions, and that largely for me is really positive. And the message that I've given the players there is that has to be taken as a positive. We have to use that as a step forward, as a bounce, as continuation of the momentum that we built so far, and certainly not something that in any way dents what we're trying to do, because you feel tonight that we're taking one of our early chances and being slightly tighter at the back away from a really big result, and it's frustrating that it's not come. But I think largely I'll wake up tomorrow morning feeling positive, feeling like we've got something very solid to move into Saturday's game with.
Ultimately, do you feel like this was a missed opportunity then?
Oh, for sure. I think it was a real chance for us to make a big statement in terms of the result, and we certainly left nothing out there as the game went on, and we really pushed. We really had the better of the game in the second half, and really used the momentum of the crowd. And you can't help but look back at some of the chances that we had early on and feel frustrated. I don't think you're going to get loads and loads and loads of chances against a side like that. They're very good defensively. They're a very complete team, I would say, and that's reflected in what they've done as a club and what they've done this season, what they do when they play away from home. So I think the fact that we got the number of relatively clean-cut chances that we got in the first half was almost as good as I think it would have got. I certainly wouldn't have hoped for more prior to the game, or believed that we could have created much more. So in that sense, yeah, opportunity missed, and one that we'll wake up frustrated on, but also I know that's a big step forward, and I know that's a much closer version to the version that we really want to be, particularly at home.
Given the lack of clear-cut chances, do you want to see something different from Joaquin there? Maybe play it off to Bongi on that breakaway?
Yeah, I can't imagine that he's going to look back at that and feel any other way about it. But I suppose in the heat of a moment like that, with him having broken forward with such pace, then it takes a real cool head and real composure at that point to recognise that you've got a runner off your shoulder and slide him in for what would have been a tap in. But I can't level that against Joaquin. They're really difficult moments, and I think for him, I would say another step forward. There were some really good moments, and it certainly wasn't performance related that he ended up coming off at half time. We wanted to make sure that there was some real energy, something that the group could cling to, a really substantial change with 3 players off, 3 players on, and it was far more to do with that than anything I could level at him around the first half.
That triple substitution you mentioned, you also changed the shape a little bit. What was your thinking behind that?
Well, we wanted to get Tanny alongside Kelvin. We wanted to get him into the position where he really thrives, playing on the last line and being a real threat alongside Kelvin as another reference point for us, and have Rob playing underneath. But obviously they Cincinnati pose you some real problems on the ball with how they build with that very wide back 3, so it's almost impossible to not defend with the front 3 of some form. So Tanny ends up defending from the right hand side and playing much more centrally when we get the ball, and I think largely it worked. I don't think they had a great deal, minus the moments where we really opened up toward the end, and it gave us a different look at the top of the pitch, and one that I felt certainly got us the number of chances that we needed to get level, I would say.
You talked about the depth that you have on the team. How do you feel about that defensively? If Jefferson's playing fullback now, Mickey has a rough first half. There's no real other options to go to. How do you look at things defensively, depth-wise?
Yeah, I think we've of course strengthened mostly at the top of the pitch in midfield, and haven't added beyond Jefferson, haven't added real cover in the middle of the back line, where obviously typically we will defend with 3. So with Jefferson and Boxy and Mickey, I do genuinely feel like on their day when they're at it, the three of them, they can be a really solid base for us, a really solid platform. But of course, we can't look back at those 3 goals that we conceded and not be disappointed. And of course, the 3 of them will be disappointed. But at the moment, I feel like they're guys that are very willing, very aggressive, very capable, and we've got to make sure that against the top teams we're almost perfect defensively, as I've said, and that has not been the case tonight. And the back line, the goalkeeper, will all take a good long look at that. But that for sure across that back line is more than enough for us to do what we want to do. Good players, really aggressive, and as I say, a really big part of the team.
You brought some guys in at the end that haven't played a lot lately. Does it feel more like these are guys that are pushing for more playing time now, or more like this is something you can point to an example and say, this is what I want out of you. I want you to finish this game in the last 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, I think in some cases that will, I would say, be par for the course between now and the end of the season. I've made it quite clear across the group that we, as I've said previously, have a genuine sense of starters and finishers. And of course, as that game goes on, you feel like someone like Fragapane, who's got a real eye for unlocking a back line. Timu, who had a couple of good chances and did relatively well with both, has obviously got a real eye for goal. And I think in those 2 cases, then they're going to be important players for us in those situations where we're really chasing. And I don't look back and regret those 2 in any way, because I think they really contributed to the momentum. We had some good chances as a consequence of their involvement. So I think those 2 are a couple of guys that are good examples of players that in particular situations such as that can make a real mark for us.
Kelvin's PK, was that just another example of his calmness at the spot?
Yeah, you have a real sense of confidence when he's in those situations, and wasn't quite as easy a game. I say easy a game, I don't think he's had an easy game so far, but it was a real good matchup for him today, and he got very little change out of their back line. But when a moment presented itself, he was calm, composed, and ruthless, and that's what we're going to need from him. And I think all-round performance, willingness, energy, aggression, defensive discipline, it was another really good step for him.
Any more, Coach?
Good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.